welcome to The Sinner and the Saint. I'm Melissa Bell.
And I'm Allison Kane.
So I'm super excited about today's podcast because it was my idea, which the dangerous part is, there's not a lot of notes, and we're just winging it.
Watch out. I love it.
So we're talking about awkward.
And I have no idea what her stories are, by the way.
I have 5 million stories. There's so many different times in our life when it is awkward. Okay.
Yes.
There's the kind of benign times when you're in the grocery store and you recognize somebody or they recognize you, but
you don't know who they are. You can't
Yeah.
remember how you know them. That happened to me just the other day, and I felt terrible.
yeah, or like you know the person, but something has happened since the last time you saw them, and so it's just awkward
Yeah.
because you're like, I know that something major happened in their life, and do I say something? Just, hey, how are you? And then I just talk about the dumbest stuff when that situation is happening. And I tell really dumb jokes, and it's just awkward. Sorry.
Our daughter laughs at inappropriate times, which is awkward. Because, well, I mean, I'm not with her as much now, but that would always be a little awkward. Like something terrible would happen and she would start laughing because it was her, like it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how she would respond to sadness or whatever.
Right.
Or bad news. And I'd be like, sorry, she laughs at you know.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, there's a million things.
There's also, I laugh a lot. God, please forgive me. Don't make a scene for this one. I remember my kids, something happening to them. Mm-hmm. My daughter and I, she was 3, and we're at the top of these 2 slides. She's going to kill me for saying this. And we start to head down the slides. Well, she pushes off first, right? And her foot gets caught. So then she just somersaults all the way down the slide and like face plants. It was on one of those little rubber fluffy things, right? And I'm just sitting at the top laughing. Uncontrollably laughing.
Oh my gosh.
And that's all she remembers.
Oh.
And so my kids know, like, as long as you haven't broken a bone, mom is going to laugh at you.
Oh my gosh.
So I might be like Emma.
Maybe.
Emma, girl, I got you. I got you.
It's a thing. Now as she's gotten older, she can contain it. She knows it and she can try to, keep it in, have a little more self-control. Well, I'll share with you my most recent awkward thing that really had to do with me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just me in this situation. So my husband has this group of friends that he golfs with. I know like 2 of them.
Okay.
And it is, it's at a particular place, and so they all know each other. And then there's a lot of, the wives that golf. I don't golf, y'all. I don't like to sweat. I like to work out in climate-controlled environments. Plus, when I swing that thing, I can't even hit that dang ball, so it's real hard to play. But anyway, there was this dinner last Friday, and so I went. And Matt had he had to shower, so he was a little late. And I'm literally there. There's a table of women. I walk out, and there's a couple of men, and it's me. So I just sat down at a table.
By yourself?
By myself.
So going into the situation, were you already anxious?
Yes.
Okay.
I was, because I don't really know these people. Matt wasn't out of the shower, and I should have just stayed where I was comfortable.
Right.
And not like walked into the situation, but it wasn't that deep. But anyway, so I went and I sat down, but I could tell people were like, well, who does she belong to? Like, she's sitting there by herself,
Okay.
at this table. And it's not like I don't stand out
Right.
with my crazy blonde curls. And so I'm just sitting there, and I'm having this inner dialogue with myself.
Ooh, I want to be a fly on that wall.
Like, what? Okay, you probably just should have stayed inside and talked to Sean and the other guy that work here. And until Matt came to get you, now all these people are looking at you, and they don't know who you belong to. And oh my gosh, those ladies are just looking at you. I mean, it was crazy. And I'm like, maybe I should move tables. Maybe I should go back. Like, all this is going on inside.
How long was this going on for?
I mean, it felt like forever, but it was just a couple of minutes. And I was like, Allison, okay, you need to stop and take a breath. Like, you belong here.
Yes.
You're fine sitting at a table by yourself.
Everywhere else. Everywhere
else.
Like you get excited sometimes to go have lunch by yourself.
I actually do prefer, yes, to do things alone. And then, but nobody else was, but then I didn't know a lot of people either. But it's like, Matt's going to be out in just a minute. Just sit here, enjoy your glass of wine and the sunset.
I was going to say, I totally would have been like, can I have 2 bourbons, please?
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. That's how I would have gotten out of that awkward situation.
Yeah. 2 bourbon. I've never done that, but.
Well, I mean, then they know someone's coming.
Yes. Oh,
but
gotcha.
if it gets really bad, you got a second one. You know what I'm saying? So you have just secured your next 25 minutes.
There you go. That's
so
right.
Take a page out of my book.
So the whole thing was so awkward.
So how did it resolve itself?
It was fine. Like,
Yeah.
Matt came out. I saw some people I knew. They came up and talked to me.
Did you guys stay at that table by yourself, or were you supposed to sit with the other people?
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, but just nobody. They had run late, and so nobody was really out there yet, and they were supposed to be.
Gotcha.
Except for this other table. And I often think, was it because there was this other table of women that I didn't know?
Yeah.
And of course they weren't like, oh, hey, we're so-and-so.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
which is fine. I could have done the same thing.
Yes.
I didn't really want to.
Right.
But anyway, that was awkward. That's
Yeah.
my most recent awkward thing.
Okay, so awkward situations. We run into them all the time. How about when you are maybe at somebody's house and, there's a group of you. I was invited to this house and I know the person fairly well, but the people that were there I didn't know. And so, first of all, it was delivered as, hey, we're just going to have a few people over. Well, a few people was a lot of people. And we're not all the same people. And so we're on the front porch. My husband, myself, my brother and his fiance, hanging out we're just trying to
Find a space.
At this point, we're like, we don't want to be here, but we need to do the 20 minutes and then get out, right?
Right.
And they're talking about tripping on mushrooms and,
What?
oh, I want to help somebody do this. And they're all talking about doing all these drugs.
Where
And
were you?
they're
We can talk later.
They're super excited about this. And they're just, let me tell you something.
It's normal conversation.
Let me tell you something. We're not talking about a bunch of 20-somethings. We're talking about corporate people talking about it, the whole gamut. And my brother and I are just looking at each other, first of all, wondering, did we just go back to our 20s right now? Because what's happening? Where have y'all been? You should have done this a long time ago. But
Wow.
secondly, my brother's like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so I texted the whole group, gave them the little look at your phone, and I said, hey, we're hungry. We're going to go get Mexican in 25 minutes. I'll start the process.
Nice.
So you have to have an out.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, guys, it was, man, good luck with that adventure that you want to go on. What is happening?
Yeah, you find yourself in a situation. You didn't feel awkward at first, but you found yourself in an awkward situation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
in order to keep it where I don't upset the homeowner, because I just want to tell y'all people, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay? Hey.
She didn't tell you that night, but she's going to tell you on this podcast.
There's something wrong with you. It's not normal to want to go microdose LSD. No, don't do that.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to say it on the podcast. It feels so dirty.
Okay. You might want to bleep that out.
No, it's fine. It's just crazy to me. Like that.
I was shocked. I was
Yeah.
like, are we in the 70s? What's happening? Anyways.
Yeah, that would be really awkward.
Yeah.
I would have felt really awkward.
We just got up. Like, yeah, we got to go now. See you later.
Wow. So, all right. So mine was my own personal awkward. I don't think anybody else felt awkward in my situation.
Right.
Yours was your group of people that felt awkward. Probably nobody else there felt awkward.
They should have. They probably do if they did all that stuff.
So what about, I've had this situation where I've been with, in a group setting, and the wife is totally putting down the husband in front of people. Like,
And the husband?
yes. I mean,
Okay, this is when my really bad humor comes out. It's not good. I'm going to shut the whole conversation down, and it's going to be bad for everybody.
So yours is humor?
Mine is humor. Mine is normally humor to get out of awkward situations or just something completely erratic. Like,
Yeah.
a crazy moonwalk, out the door. I will make it. I will make them know that I'm awkwardly leaving, and I'm like, awkwardly leaving the conversation.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to draw
great.
more attention to it.
See, I am the opposite in those because I feel, as if it's, and this is not true, that it's my job to bring it to their attention that what they're doing is wrong and to stick up for said person versus whether it's wife or husband talking about
Right.
whichever way it goes. And I will say things like, surely there must be something wonderful that you love about your husband. What would that be? And then I've totally these are people I don't know that I'm like just meeting. So I'm sure they're like, oh, or, one time they were talking about being on an airplane and turbulence at this particular setting. And this particular person said, oh, I use back to drugs. It's like, I don't know. What are they? Like
Dramamine?
Valium.
Oh, yeah,
and
Valium.
I don't know. I can't take any of that stuff. So she listed off like 3 of those like major anti-anxiety prescription drugs. And I was like, or you can be like me and I just have a glass of wine and Jesus.
Okay.
And she was just like, but I sort of come out
Right.
the opposite as like, I don't leave, I engage.
Do you think it comes across judgy when you engage?
I don't know. It might, but I'm just trying to rectify the situation.
Yeah. And you're like, I don't even care.
I mean,
Hey, it's either I judge you or Jesus does, and I'm going to be a lot nicer. I'm just saying.
I don't think I'm judging actually in that situation. I don't know. I could be wrong. You can tell me.
I don't know because I'm not there. I want to be a part of it now. I should hang out with you more.
I feel like it's like what you said earlier today where you didn't know any different. And I think sometimes I throw that out there because it's like,
Give them something to think about.
this is, or you could consider this because this is how I handle it. So I'm sharing my opinion.
Right.
And it's very different than yours. And I'm not going to get up and leave the table and not be talking to you anymore. But hey, this is me.
Yeah.
I also think that it might stop some of the awkward stuff. That's how I get them to stop being so negative because I feel as if I sort of let them know with a comment or a question that it's really not appropriate and I don't
Right.
like it, they'll stop.
I used to say,
Hopefully.
pack your bags. They're going on a guilt trip.
You're so awesome.
Who says that?
She's not from the South.
Pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip.
These are the things I'm thinking, but I say that, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have plenty of awkward, but guess who else did awkward things? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. He was
Yeah. in awkward situations.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did some awkward things. He handled a lot of awkward.
Yeah. I think that in movies, we portray Jesus as like this very confident, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure he was confident, but
But he was also in the flesh.
yeah, but almost like this, wherever he went, he was the top dog wherever he went. Not the case.
No.
And also, sometimes you're presented with a situation and where I want to go pack your bags, we're going on a guilt trip, that's not going to solve anything. And so I love some of Jesus's awkward moments. I think one of my favorites was like, what was it like to be at Lazarus's tomb when Jesus shows up 3 days after Lazarus is dead and he starts talking to Lazarus like, Lazarus! And they're like, did somebody forget to tell him?
Were there mushrooms involved?
Hey, who's going to tell him that Lazarus is dead? This is weird.
Yeah.
Awkward.
He's like, ain't nobody got time for that. Come on out.
Hey, Lazarus, get out here and
You've
stop
been dead
playing.
long enough, man. Get on out of here. You got some chores. Your chore list is backing up.
Stop playing games, Lazarus. Get out here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't love this story, but because of course it's sad, but the woman who's committed adultery and she's about to be stoned and Jesus shows up and he just squats down and starts like finger painting in the dust. I mean, I'm sure because they get asked like, well, they they ask him a really hard question. They're trying to catch him, right? Like,
Right.
do you not think this is what we should do? This is the law. Don't you agree with the law? I don't remember. That's paraphrase, obviously. And so-
Barely, but it was paraphrased.
yeah, barely. So he squats down and he's, finger painting in the dust. Like, I'm sure that was a little awkward.
I mean, yeah, they're expecting him to answer.
It's like, yes, right then. And
Starts drawing. And,
he paused and he prayed. Like, I have no doubt, like every other time, he was talking to the Father.
right, like, God, what do you want me to do with these people? Because I got my own feelings about this.
Yes. And maybe some of that is he's trying to, taper and damper down what flesh would like to do or say and respond. And he's pausing and he's being thoughtful and prayerful before he stands up and he gives them a drop the mic answer. Like, all right, people, well, ye who is without sin, you cast the first stone.
So, you know what's fascinating as you say that? I wonder if he had to fight the flesh with that. Like we do.
I think he did. And the reason I say that, I mean, obviously, I don't know. I'm not a theologian, so ask your pastor. But the reason I would say that is I think about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he knows what is coming. He knows about his death on the cross, and he is terrified. Like, so he is so stressed. He is up praying and talking. He's asking God, if there's another way, can we pick that? If there's another way, I'll take it. I mean, we're so stressed that he's sweating blood.
Yeah.
That's human.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done any sweating of blood, and I hope I never have to. But I'm saying his fear and his desire to skip over the painful part is so human and like us that's why I say that. I feel as if he did have to overcome that because he was part man, all God, but of the flesh.
Well, and then awkward. Y'all fell asleep again?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, man.
So another awkward situation that I think is interesting is when they're doing I think it's the Last Supper.
Yeah.
And they're there for dinner, man. Dinner party! They don't really understand what's going on.
No, because Jesus is about to die on the cross.
Right. And Jesus starts just washing their feet.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy. I don't, who wants to go get a pedicure right now? I don't know a lot of men that like a pedicure.
Well, I think it made them so uncomfortable.
Right.
Because he is, the Son of God. They did believe that.
And they did believe that he was in charge of them because they were saying, can I sit next to you at the...
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's washing their feet. Like, well, and even one of the disciples whoa, look, we're not doing that.
Right.
Let me wash your feet.
Yeah.
That was another awkward one. And honestly, if you go back to his very first miracle, water to wine.
Yeah.
This was Jesus. I think he probably felt really awkward in this situation, kind of like I did sitting at that dinner table. It's sort of like, here I am. I'm at this wedding. My mom is like...
Your mom put you on the spot.
Yes. Here's this big problem. She's like, oh, my son will take care of it. And he's like, bruh, I don't want to do that. I don't want that attention. I'm not ready for that. That ends up being his, and of course he does it. And we got a whole podcast on that. But that was probably an awkward moment. That was his first kind of coming out miracle.
So here's an interesting thought about that situation. How did his mom know that he was going to take care of that? Had he done miracles at home?
That's what I would love to know.
Had she been like, oh man, I'd really like a glass of wine. He's like, bing.
I know. She was, and of course, she knew who he was from the Immaculate Conception and all that, but it had been years.
Right.
He's 30 at this point and hasn't done his first, public miracle. So,
it makes you wonder, did she think he was going to do a different way? Anyways, that's for another day. Another podcast, not the awkward podcast.
Exactly. So, all right. So, what's our bottom line on awkward? We obviously have each had a lot of awkward moments. You've had a lot of awkward moments.
We would love to know how you get out of your awkward moments.
Yes.
That would be really fun to engage with.
That we would love to hear those thoughts. I think that as I look back on my awkward moments from years past, I definitely did not handle them in the right way. Now, I tend to practice more pausing and praying before I respond
Yes.
in all situations, even the awkward ones. I think the thing about the awkward situations is they can really catch you off guard. And so it can be difficult unless you're in that pattern and have that practice down of pausing and praying and thinking before you speak. It can really not turn out well.
Yeah, but also, I mean, you have hall pass, right? Because know better, do better. So you didn't know any better. You just got to do whatever you wanted to do. Pack your bags, girl. We're going on a guilt trip.
I hope you have no guilt trips this week. And I hope that you'll find some laughter in sharing some awkward moments with a friend over dinner or lunch this week, or when you're taking a walk with a friend. Share some of your top 3 awkward moments with someone and get them to share with you as well. Because it's always good to have a good laugh.
Yes. And the next time you are in an awkward situation, as my dear friend Allison would say, pause and pray and hope that God will get you out of it.
Yes. Amen to that. Thanks for joining us this week on The Sinner and the Saint.